The substitute that's being offered today is an effort trying to listen to both sides, trying to address what we're dealing with here. And what we do with the substitute is one of the main things we've talked about is it removes the appropriations that was designed, again, to fit around science, giving the department the flexibility they need and the money they need to do the research when it comes to, especially coming to game animals, which is what the concern really is all about at this point with everything that's been happening. But we're removing that because of the controversy over it. We just as soon leave it aside. Let's debate it on the science and the merit of the bill. It also makes it so that any referendum that's been passed before this bill would be is enacted, that it would be honored. So we believe we've taken the things we've heard today, we've taken that off the table. What I'd like to talk about a little bit about is the journey we've been on and where we're at right now. In the committee, there was a lot of conversation about the will of the people. There was a lot of conversation about science. And I want to honor and respect both. So as we move forward, when we discuss this, quite frankly, when I started out a while back with a particular animal moving forward, based on our environment, what we're dealing with, I really saw little opposition or at least little controversy. Little did I know this was going to turn into what it has turned into. And by the way, I want to shout out and apologize to anybody that I put in harm's way with what we're trying to do here, because I do realize this issue is very targeted towards one small part, in a sense, of the state of Michigan. There's a smaller group of people having to deal with this, or a minority, may I mention, is dealing with this. So for those of you that have received a lot of heartaches over this, I apologize. I never intended that to be the case. I simply tried to help my citizens in my district. As we move forward, we tried to listen to all the concerns, everything that was happening. So what we tried to do was we tried to zero in on the public voice. That's where we came up with Proposal G. Proposal G was the will of the people, and it was that game animals must be monitored with sound science. They must be taken with sound science. I think that's a good philosophy. We've tried to do that. When we worked on issues when it came to hunting and fishing, we started realizing this thing is bigger than just one game animal that we're discussing. This is Michigan's heritage to hunt and fish, period. And for those that might disagree and suggest that this has nothing to do with that, it's just simply about one particular species, you only have to look at the website of the very entity that's pushing this entire issue, the United States Humane Society, and they're very clear on what their stated goal is, and that is the elimination of any animal, hunting animals of any sort. That is their stated goal. That's their stated goal, and they're the ones behind this. They're the ones that are putting all the money into this thing. And so when we talk about the will of the people, really, folks, really, if we can't keep up with the kind of money that could potentially be poured into some referendum of the people, are the people going to get the whole story? Are they going to get the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So help us God? Or are they going to get a message by a group that has a stated goal, which is to eliminate hunting, period? That's why we've rose to the level we have with this entire issue. That's why we're supported by the NRA, by the Safari Club International, by MUCC, by the UP Sportsmen's Alliance. The list goes on, Farm Bureau, because now we see where this is heading. So this bill is designed to still try and address some of those issues. We're still trying to be respectful. We're still trying to listen to everybody. So we believe we have honored and respected those things and tried to reach that goal of a middle ground, because it's important that we keep our heritage. It's important that we do not allow people from the outside to dictate policy by using the will of the people through campaign ads or TV ads with a slanted viewpoint. What do I mean by that? Just briefly, what do I mean by that? I have heard nothing but there's 700 animals in the wolf case. I've heard nothing but 700 animals in the state of Michigan. I hear that over and over. Every media outlet I've read or listened to, that's what I hear. The truth of the matter is there's 700 wolves in an isolated area within the Upper Peninsula. That's the truth of the matter. And why do I say that? Because if I simply say there's 700 wolves across 83 counties in the state of Michigan, that's a sustainable herd. We probably could manage that, and we probably wouldn't have the problems that my citizens are faced with. But when you tell the public, when you tell the people of the state of Michigan, small communities are faced with enormous numbers of particular animals in their backyards, now let's have a vote of the will of the people and see what they say. But that's not what's going to be said unless we have enough money to compete with those type of referendums. So the goal here is, let's take it away from biology through referendum. Let's put it in to the experts. Let's let them make some of these decisions. The public still has a voice. They still go in and they can say yay or nay to the decisions. I think that's a good policy moving forward. So I've talked a lot about the idea of the hunting and the heritage of Michigan. And as much as I think that's very important, I want everybody to know before I sit down, that's not the most important. That's not. A while back, I went into a community to see what was going on in that community because I heard they had a lot of problems and they needed help. I walked out of that community completely convinced they had a lot of problems and they truly needed help. The people needed help. I stood up for that issue because I believed in it, because I took the time to go see what the problem was. My colleagues, I want to share with you, I'm pretty sure the no votes in this chamber, most of them, if not all of them, none of them, have gone to Ironwood, Michigan to see how my citizens are living now when they're living in fear, when they no longer can let their children go play in the backyard without thinking, should I or shouldn't I? Because we know they're there. When they can't let their child go out to the bus on the end of the driveway without wondering, should I or shouldn't I? That's what my citizens, my constituents are living with right now, but make no mistake, they are a minority. So the bulk of the people in the state of Michigan are not living under that threat right now. They don't have that problem. And all of a sudden I'm hearing all these experts that don't live under that type of scrutiny telling us in a very small remote area in my district how they should live. And by the way, national news when a coyote was spotted in Detroit, Michigan. National news. There's been 7 wolves already taken inside the city of Ironwood, right in the city. And when I talked to the city manager, he said that was a drop in the bucket. We only got to 7 of them. Many more have been there. And we can cite all the reasons. But really, it's acceptable to let those people live like that? I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't stand up here and try to fix it. I wouldn't be doing my job. I'm asking for your support on this bill. I'm asking people to reconsider that want to vote no. Before you vote no, I would suggest go talk to my constituents. Go see what they're living under and rethink your thinking here.